Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping. Because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before our face too black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through today. What is it? The 17th, 2000. It's the 17th of June, 2025. Yes, girl. So it has been 3 whole days since I started to review this video. Y'all know I tried my best. I watched a video where Mr. Willie D Live interviewed Corey Miller, also known as CMurder. I can't say that on YouTube, but interviewed him and about the new findings in his case. Corey Miller is maintaining his innocence and is maintaining that he is wrongfully incarcerated. You know me. I am the OG. Girl, that rhymed. I wouldn't even try. But I am the OG prison wife. I have been a prison wife for the last 23 plus years to a man that is wrongfully incarcerated in Florida DOC. Girl, I have been fighting for most of my life. I started this journey fighting. It started with my husband's wrongful conviction in 2001. So before he was even wrongfully convicted, I started that fight. So 2001, I was 20. I am 44. So I have been a prison wife for more than half of my life. And I've been fighting not for wrongful convictions, but to break wrongful conviction stories for more than half of my life. That is crazy. So that's why I'm the OG prison wife. I'm not only a prison wife and go through all the things that prison wives go through, but I also have this other plight of wrongful convictions. They really bother me. I cannot stand them. They're really almost impossible. I would just say they're impossible to get through, like to get out of. But there are a few people that break through the cracks and overturn their stories. But they're very difficult. And you wear so much shame because there's so many stigmas around prison, criminal justice anyway. So those stigmas are so bad that anybody having any dealings with the system is considered to be bad, right? So you're already, it's just being mislabeled all the way around, and you're getting a punishment that you do not deserve. Even I, the family of someone wrongfully incarcerated, has received a punishment. Our daughter has received a punishment she did not deserve. And my husband, of course, the one that's doing that time wrongfully, received the ultimate punishment he did not deserve. So it's a hard road, but girl, I guess God put me here for this. This is crazy. It started a long time ago in my life. This is the reason God is putting the pieces together in my life. This was the reason I was outcasted and bullied twice. My first time for being the only BLK girl in elementary, and then middle school because I was a tomboy and fell on my face and was coined the phrase called Scarface. I was called Scarface, made fun of, outcasted, shunned, thrown rocks at, anything you could think of. And it was like God was literally training me from a child. Because a child didn't deserve the things I went through. So, excuse me. This is why I fight wrongful convictions. This is why they bother me so bad. I hate injustice with the passion. Something got stuck in my throat. This is nothing but the enemy. Because I'm going to have to keep coughing through this. Not one cough came through until I pushed record. And I am known to be a perfectionist. One little thing I do wrong, I want to delete the whole freaking goddamn video. And I can't pause this. So we're just going to keep moving. I can't be perfect, and I'm not going to be one of those that pretend and play like they're perfect and go through nothing. We finna be real and transparent, because that's the part that's going to actually have your testimony touch people, that transparency. Okay, so let's get to reviewing. Or we're going to start to review. I don't know how much time I got. It is almost 3 in the morning. I got to work. Got my work shift a couple hours from now. I couldn't hardly get my granddaughter to bed. Like, I took them out today swimming, and I was tired as I don't know what, but I was trying to pull through and finish this video. But my granddaughter has literally been... She just fell asleep on the floor. All right, let's get it in. So it may not be the whole video I review, but we're going to start. And we're going to let this upload overnight while I sleep. Then rush off to freaking goddamn work, because I work to live and live to work. Hustle hard until it hurts. I work my fingers down to the bone. And once I pay my bills, ain't got nothing to come home with. Okay. Breaking. CMurder reveals shocking new details about case. So let's listen, and I'll chime in every now and then. Y'all know I love Willie D live. And yes, I got a Project Reach the World. Project Reach the World is my art for justice. It makes 20 years old this year, 20 years fighting through my art, wrongful convictions. And I do have a Project Reach the World for Mr. Willie D. I can link in the description box. But let's listen to his interview with Corey Miller.
Willie D Live.
Willie D Live.
Man. I know that, man. You know, I can't call it. I might stop.
I love Willie D.
Yeah, same here.
Good to see you, King. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
right, dog. You too, man. You too, dog.
How you holding up, man?
Man, look, I'm just thinking about freedom, bro.
That part.
Right.
You heard me all. I know it's been a minute,
You heard? You heard me? I know this better not. Because this what it did last time. It didn't even get into the opening sentence, and I had to stop the video. See, look how it's just spinning. That be the enemy, like literally. I know this thing better play. And I just listened to a whole video before I started this review. So that's how you can tell, you can pinpoint when an enemy is just obstructing justice. Like, that's what he does in my life. Blocks off, comes around a corner, blocks me off.
Everything rolling, I did the roll.
Yeah.
So hopefully you dig this the year.
Right.
That what it's feeling like, Jerry.
Hey, what's the main I read some of the paperwork, some of the new evidence that's been out there. Can you share what are some of the legal points that your team are making to get you out of there?
Well, you know the 10-2 is one of the main things spearhead right now. That's the old Jim Crow racist law that started way back in the G. And it's still in effect only in Louisiana. At first it was just Louisiana and Oregon, but now it's Louisiana, Oregon, made it retroactive.
So this is not my video. I am reviewing Mr. Willie D's video.
And then everybody who falls under that case.
Oh, sorry.
The reason
And the video is for entertainment purposes only, girl.
Africa, the Supreme Court say the 10-2 is unconstitutional. Let them out, give them a new trial. The reason me and 900 more dudes got
Wait, hold on. What he
because
said?
it's
10-2?
all in Louisiana at first. But you know the 10-2 is one of the main things spearhead right now. That's the old Jim Crow racist law that started way back in the G. And it's still in effect.
Okay, 10-2, if I'm not mistaken, is referring to the verdict from the jury 10-2 that like everybody doesn't really have to agree on guilt before they can convict you of guilt, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look it up. We got time today. Well, not really. I'm tired, but let's just act like we do. Let's see. What is... But I know our governor... I know that our governor here in Florida was trying to get rid of... he was trying to change the law to where you don't need all 12 jurors to agree. And in my husband's wrongful conviction case, the jury was not polled, so I don't even know if you can find out how many were for guilt and how many were for innocent. I do know the jury came back with 2 unanswered questions, never got the answers to those questions, and still came back with guilty in the highest. Like, I don't understand that. Okay, so what is 10-2 when it comes to... I don't even know how to ask this question. When it comes to a jury trial. Okay, there we go. In the context of a jury trial, 10-2 refers to a verdict where 10 jurors agree and 2 disagree. Historically, in some jurisdictions, particularly Louisiana and Oregon, a 10-2 majority verdict was sufficient. Also, Florida's trying to go to that, which I'm sure they probably did. Let's see. Was sufficient to convict a defendant in serious criminal cases. So I guess that prevents juries from being deadlocked. Okay, so now let's ask, did Florida... So Louisiana is already like that. And Florida's trying to do whatever doesn't make no sense for reform. We're trying to go backwards every way that we can. Did Florida anything like this? I don't know. I usually don't have to even guess. I'm sure they passed that BS like that. They already, allegedly rig up the jury itself. So that's an extra cushion layer so that if by chance our rigged up jury does not find you guilty 100%, we only have to get 10-2. Okay. did Florida go to 10-2 jury. Based on the provided results, what did I tell y'all? Why am I the OG? Based on provided search results, Florida has, because anything backwards asked, we gonna do, implemented, my opinion, y'all, legislation allowing for an 8-juror submajority rather than a unanimous 12-juror vote to recommend the D penalty in capital cases. So where it's most, oh my God, where it is most needed is where this is distinct from a 10-2 rule. Okay, it says, in summary, Florida did not change its jury trial requirements to a 10-2 ratio for all jury trials. Instead, it specifically addresses D penalty recommendations in capital cases, lowering the threshold. You know why that's upsetting? Just last year, Mr. Marcellus Williams, D penalty. He wasn't in Florida, but he was in one of these states that's, all these states are just about, and they wrongfully deleted him. So people are like, well, you don't know if he was innocent, you don't know if he was guilty, but per your law that you established, if there's newly discovered evidence, you do not jump to deletion before hearing newly discovered evidence. Like, how do you have a deletion date set before a court hearing date? Like, where does this make sense? But they jump straight. And the same guy that had the cards in his hand to halt the wrongful deletion of Marcellus Williams, was the same guy in Kevin Strickland's case who was wrongfully incarcerated and spent 42 wrongful years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Spent 42 years in prison. The same guy said that innocence is not a reason to be released from prison. Like, I wish they would handle cases like they would their own. If it was their own selves on trial, or their families or their loved ones, they would deal with people so much differently. But they toy with them as though they're just chess pieces. They're nothing. They're not even really human. And it's so aggravating. These are my feelings, my opinions. So Florida, that's crazy, because there's wrongfully convicted people on D-row as well. So now it's easier to wrongfully convict you. I don't stand for anything that's easier to, girl, this world. That's why the golden rule really is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, because if you just did that, it could eliminate most of, if not all of these injustices, because you would not do unto yourself what you are doing unto others. You would not.
Teenagers are building businesses with AI.
You would not. And you know you wouldn't. But you handle somebody else's life, but you want mercy on your life. Wow.
It is still in effect. All in Louisiana. At first it was just Louisiana or but now it's Louisiana. Oregon dragged it in, and everybody who fall under that case. The reason I'm not free when the Supreme Court said 10-2 is unconstitutional, let them out, him a new trial. The reason me and 900 more dudes got free is because our court dates was earlier than the dude and some dudes. So just because we missed it by a month, a year, or 2 years that we was at trial earlier, we still sit. So we really held captive right now. We really like.
Whenever they change these, they is so much pushback on reform. They don't want to reform this system in no type of way. There are problems though. Prisons are, y'all already see the reason why Corey Miller did his hunger strike. The reason why Anti-Massey maintains that he was let out is because of these inhumane conditions in DLC, right? So you already have that. Staff have to work in these inhumane, you don't care about our loved ones because they're deemed to be nothing. But your staff has to work in these inhumane, sweltering heat. During the 2020 shutdown, that was the last place you wanted to be. They had to be in those same vicinities and stuff, those same conditions. So you can't hardly keep style. And I'm the OG prison wife. Girl, I remember when there was a guard for everything. A guard for this, a guard for that, a guard here, a guard there, a guard every goddamn where. But how about they ain't hardly got guards now? They flip over like that. You'll see this guard, then you see that guard. You don't even get to, they can't keep staff. And the staff has to work long shifts. So you're having problems with maintaining. Like I do have a video where I was likening Florida DLC, but I'm sure they're all like this, to a hoarder's house where you have so much that you cannot utilize the house for what it was meant for. Because you just got too much. And you know what the hoarder does? They don't want to go through their stuff. They don't want you to just bulldoze it. They don't want you to just, turn it over. They want you, and they cry and they do this and do that. And the last thing they want you to do is start sorting through and going through their stuff, their mess. They want to keep it all, and they want to figure out how to keep it all. So the answer to mass incarceration is let's build a bigger prison, a megaplex prison where they have AC. Y'all want AC? Okay. We just gonna build you a bigger prison, and when we build this thing, we gonna fill this thing. Girl, we built this thing to fill this thing. But y'all still don't care. So hopefully y'all ain't got no bed that's in there, girl.
Held captive right now. We really sitting there a lot that don't even exist. So it's like 900 me and 900.
Oh yeah, but they hate to if they do anything because they don't want to do anything. But if they do, by chance, they never want to make it retroactive so that it can alleviate and release those that are already up under these archaic and bad laws. That's what I meant to say.
Going through trying to bait the tent to that grave. So that's one thing. Then the only two witnesses they had recanted in my case, and they don't want to separate.
Wrongful convictions, the leading causes. If y'all been watching my channel, y'all ain't been watching my channel. There's some, because y'all knew, it's some new to the channel, girl. But I've been on here riding out since 2020, talking about wrongful convictions. So y'all already know what I'm about to say. Leading cause in wrongful convictions are the first leading cause, eyewitness misidentification, and prosecutorial, because I be choking on that word, can't hardly say it right, prosecutorial misconduct. Two leading causes of wrongful convictions. And they still, though they know they produce those results, they still rely heavily on those two things to gain convictions, right? Number one, they don't want you to take it to court. Plea, take the plea, take the plea, take the plea. Got a rhyme about that too. If you accused in a crime, you better take the plea. You ain't got no money, you better take the plea. You ain't got a good lawyer, you better take the plea. Hey, take that from me. You take it to trial, they say up shit's creek. And that is not legal advice, that is save your advice. Because right now, my husband's like, man, I should have just took that 17-year plea. Like, girl. But if they don't get you to plea, and most times the innocent person is going to want to push it through to trial. So if you do go through to trial, that's where those two things, those eyewitnesses, and there's ways to, maneuver that around so that works in their favor, and that prosecutorial misconduct. And then if you ever look at the flip side, once somebody does get this overturned, it usually always goes back to they're gonna say, and it's usually every case of wrongful conviction, there was no tangible evidence, which, as same in my husband's case, should be red flag number one. There's no evidence linking this person to this crime. They may not be the one. And they're going to say it was either prosecutorial misconduct or eyewitness misidentification, which they can make them eyewitnesses. Eyes witness what they want them to witness. Like in my husband's case, they forced them to testify and lie against my husband. They had conflicting testimonies that would not line up because it's not the truth. But though they seem, who said that, shifting testimonies? I don't know who said that, but when I figure out, girl, I'm going to give you your credit because I love how that's said. They had, that was when I was covering the latest on Tory Lanez. They were saying that the witnesses in his case had shifting testimonies. I love how they said that. But they still in the end find guilt and in the highest. Like how? Like what trial were you listening to, girl? But it always goes back to that. But in his case, in Corey Miller's case, the two eyewitnesses both recanted. And what's crazy, and he's going to say this, they believe the person, even if it's a jail informant, which most of them are just saying whatever they got to say to get the hot potato off of them, right? So they believe them to get the conviction. But when the person's conscience catches up with them, and that's the same with that Ohio 4, the guilty party, he was on substances, and his conscience caught back up to him once he got himself together. Say the Lord got him together and everything, and he came back and wanted to do the right thing and tell the truth about what happened, but now they don't believe him. They don't believe them in the end when they're telling the truth. But when they are lying, they're credible witnesses. And also, you're not supposed to keep from the jury that you are getting something, you're gaining, or it needs to be released to the jury that you're gaining something off of giving your testimony. Like you're not literally just giving it to us out of wanting to do what's right or out of the kindness of your heart. You're literally just doing it to keep yo behind out of prison, or to reduce your time, or to reduce the blow that's happening in your case. Or like in the case of CMurder, one of them came back and said that, hey, they were trying to pull up old charges on me if I did not say that it was him. If I didn't point the finger at him, they were gonna get me. And that's what it is. That's the real about how this really works. It's not about justice. It's not about innocence. It's not about guilt. It's not about the evidence. It's not about none of that stuff. It's just about getting a conviction and closing the case. That's what it's about. But see, that type of tacky work is why we have so many wrongful convictions. But when it gives you these many wrongful convictions, But the public won't believe you. They don't listen. They won't hear you. They don't believe. They have blind faith in this freaking goddamn stuff. And it makes it really hard to push the needle because people have just been, and I used to think when my husband was first wrongfully convicted, I thought it was an accident. I thought that once I brought the attention to the right person, wrongful convictions, my opinion, I believe are on purpose. They're purposely, wrongfully convicting you. Many of them. Because a real wrongful conviction should only stem, they shouldn't happen at all, but humans are flawed. But if they do happen, it should be from human error. It should not be because you're cutting corners, because you're willing and dealing, because you're doing this, because you're manipulating, because you are deleting exculpatory evidence, because that's one major thing that also, another major thing that happens in wrongful conviction cases, they tend to take that out. Anything that's going to prove your innocence, run it to me. Jury ain't going to never see this.
Recantation. Because see, any judge that messes my case or give me play, they get out, they ain't get voted for no more. It's just like that down here in Louisiana. It's like no other, bro. It's for real.
So I wanted to go over some of the points that your lawyer made.
I'm sorry, we're not even 3 minutes in on reviewing this video. How do I be saying I'm reviewing a video, but I ramble way too goddamn much rather than review the video. But you know that's how your girl Cadillac is. But this video is getting long. I don't want it to abruptly stop, and then I cannot upload it, and it just ends in the wrong manner. But probably I need to get back to my art, right? That is my gift that God gave me to give back to the world. So I need to get back to my art. I do have a canvas painting that I started back in February, girl? Yeah, so tomorrow we may cover more, because I know we ain't covered nothing. I did a lot of rambling, but hopefully you still were able to pull something from that. But when I paint and we just listen, I tend to not talk so much and we just hear, as you know, I'm painting. So maybe we'll do a drawing and painting night and continue this video. It's after 3 and I got to get to work, girl. I'm gonna be having every excuse as to why I'm running late if I don't. All right, guys, so I'm gonna stop it here. I will see you tomorrow. All right, and thank you everybody that is rolling with your girl. It's your girl Cadillac.